All right, you ever wonder how Chobani Yogurt or Albertsons or even Big Micron out there at the southeastern part of Boise ended up in the neighborhood that they're in? Well, urban renewal districts likely played a role in that. These special taxing districts helped fund roads, water lines, other infrastructure projects that allow something like that to be built there. Cities form these districts and they appoint commissioners to decide, well, how the money's going to be spent and how it's best used. The money comes from the increases in property tax value within that specific district. But lawmakers are kind of wanting to reshape the process on how all of this works. And Aspen, you kind of looked into this bill, which you have found out it's not so easy.
Yeah, it's a 30-page bill, but specifically it looks at how these districts can be dissolved and who can get out from under them. Right now, there are no guidelines for what happens when a city wants to dissolve an urban renewal district. So lawmakers are working to address that with House Bill 436. It addresses three main concerns. First, it establishes a formal process to start conversations between a city and an urban renewal district when the city wants to dissolve the district. Currently, dissolving districts aren't new. Cities can do this already. This just gets everyone on the same page when doing so. So it's not done abruptly. Secondly, and most arguably or notably, the bill allows fire and ambulance districts to opt out of these districts. Fire districts still must provide services to these areas as they develop and property values rise, but they only receive tax revenue based on the original base value, not the increased value. Fire districts cannot opt out if the district still owes money to any project in the district. But once the projects are seen through, fire districts could leave. Whenever a new district is created, the bill also gives fire districts now the option to be a part of an urban renewal district if they want to. This is a move Nampa's fire chief, who is also president of the Fire Chiefs Association for Idaho, stands behind.
The majority of us are solely reliant on property tax. So when an urban renewal district is formed and we're thrown into that collective for 20 years, that tax increment for us can be significant in the abilities of our budgets to perform what we need to do in serving those new populations.
Fire Chief Carpenter says this is a move that will better set up fire districts in the future. However, most fire districts will need to wait several years until financial responsibilities of an urban renewal district are finished before they can get out. Defenders of urban renewal district agencies say if a fire district were to opt out, that is a loss of revenue for renewal districts and potentially threats the future of infrastructure needs.
The loss of fire districts, and that is just another chip at the amount of revenue that you can generate in order to put in the sewer and the water and the utilities that these companies need to come to town.
Okay, so this third part, this is something that everyone seemed to agree on, and that lets districts with a single taxpayer, so for an example, like one containing Chobani and Twin Falls, for one time only, they can extend their urban renewal funding for 20 additional years when expanding. This lets cities fund critical infrastructure improvements through bonds that get repaid by the company's increased property tax revenue generated within the district. So, Brian, lots of things I just threw at you, multiple things this bill is trying to do, but really lawmakers feel it's time to crack down on these districts and kind of figure out how to best regulate them.
Okay, so speaking of time and all the things you just told us and walked us through, was there any concern about bringing such a complicated bill up this late in the session?
Yep, that definitely was brought up. Concerns about the length, what it's trying to do, how many things it's trying to do with very limited time. They considered maybe sending it to the amending order or looking at different options, but it's going to move forward.
Okay, and if it doesn't move all the way forward, there's a chance we'll see it back next year. All right, thank you very much, Aspen.